Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and hang out with you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave leg of the Scythe emote in the chat. We're going to hopefully get a few more folks joining us tonight. But if you're a subscriber, you can throw the emotes back at me. If you're not a subscriber, you can just say hi or use an emote that you have. Uh, I'm excited for the Saturday night build. We're finishing our friend here, the Justice Gundam from Gundam Seed. This is a very cool build. The backpack, we're going to have to take multiple photos because the backpack also becomes a flying contraption. Some sort of like, flying surfboard kind of thing, a flying platform, I guess you would call it. But the backpack, so we'll build a backpack, then it comes off, then we can place it. This kit has its own stands because of that. A kit is a good deal when it comes with its own base, because they're like, you're gonna need this. My favorite is when kits come with stands for the weapon because the weapon is too big for it to hold on its own. That is just classic, very good stuff. Um, I hope you're doing well tonight. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, hi YouTube. I know there's a few people that still watch there. That's your preferred method. If you're watching this VOD, thanks so much for watching the VODs. I appreciate that. I know if you do that. And for folks that are watching live, hello as well. YouTube.com/PatBear is my YouTube channel, and I archive just about everything. Occasionally, there are things that don't get archived, like testing things, or sometimes some of the wrestling stuff that I have done features stuff that will just get demonetized on YouTube, and I don't want to deal with it. Hi, Lastbrook. Welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here, as always, my friend. Now, let's talk about lighting. We can talk about lighting now because we're going to see it in there. When we go to the overhead, it's going to look real good. I think some of the best lighting I've ever had for build quality lighting. Very excited about that because I was able to brighten it up, light things properly or better at least, and I was able to not have to be overexposed, which is a thing that I've been worried about. Is because then it just the colors don't look right, and I want it to look right. Instead of messing with the exposure. Now I don't look particularly bright. And you can actually see right here, it's too bright. And that is the light that you can actually even see with my hand. The light that I've got. And I'm going to put a video up tomorrow, a mailbag video, because this came in the mail. This was bought off my wish list by an anonymous person. I do not know who bought this, but thank you, whoever did. But this is a clip light that I ordered. It's adjustable. The fact that it's clip and I can clip it to my monitor stand is why I got it. Because I wanted to light things and kind of reduce the amount of shadows. There will still be shadows because it is not the same thing as me having a big top light. But also because my webcam is underneath it, it still gets picked up by it. I can't fix that right now. The real solution was to have lights pointing out and being reflected back via umbrellas like I did when I had my green screen. That is not feasible right now. So while I don't necessarily love my particular lighting, I think overall it works out okay. And in the afternoons when I'm filming things, I'm bright enough. But right now it is a little darker than I would like for my webcam. Again, we're waiting for a few more folks to see if they want to join us before we get to the building portion. Maybe Saturday's going to be real chill. Sometimes Saturdays are super chill. I thought Thursday was going to be a dead night this past week, and we had a bunch of viewers, and we had some new people come in and ask questions, which is awesome. I love that. But I'm hoping a few more folks want to join us tonight on a Saturday. I like my Saturday night streams. I feel like there aren't a lot of people that stream on Saturday night, and uh, you know, sometimes there are things to watch out there, but I feel like Saturday is a bit underrepresented Saturday evening, so it's been nice to be able to do that. But I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about my streaming schedule, and I think here's the thing that I've kind of come to. My only big thing, because everything's up in the air and everything's a question mark, and we're figuring it all out. I'm gonna do this just there. Here we go. Now I'm centered. The big thing, though, is I think I'm done streaming on Tuesday nights because it's very clear that my audience is surprised or otherwise engaged on Tuesday nights. So when I do a game stream on Tuesday because I have something going on Wednesday, people don't come. So I think I just either will do like a different time on a Wednesday, or like I could have streamed this past Wednesday my own stream and done the gauntlet. So I think that that's going to be the actual good option. Is that I just I think Tuesdays just don't work. I had very few folks with us all throughout my stream this past Tuesday, and it was it's a little bit of a bummer because I like having people here while I stream. I like having people watching. Model kit building is something that is great for me to do, and I love doing it. But when I play the games, I could have just played Dungeon Lesbians on my own time. So I would have liked to have had a few more folks. Anyway, I've been yapping enough without building. It's time to build. So I'm going to hit retweet. We'll get that going out there. Um, Sometimes I tweet out things right before I build, and it's a bummer because I can't engage with folks. It's not the biggest bummer in the world, but it's a little bit of a bummer. So I will say this. Uh, Go check out on YouTube AEW Dark, and this week's AEW Dark episode, if only to check out Big Swole's yellow Power Ranger inspired ring gear, because it is awesome. It rules. It is, it's still in the Big Swole style. It's still her deal, but it looks phenomenal. Great Power Rangers ring gear. A much better tribute than I would say than the Lucha House Party, who did the red dragon, the white Power Ranger and the red Power Ranger at WrestleMania, and that did not convey that. It did not look right. It was a bit of a bummer. Anyway, I hope this looks good lighting wise. Like I said, there's still some shadows here. There's going to be shadows. I theoretically can get this up higher, which would reduce the shadows even more. But I'm feeling okay about it. I'm not feeling particularly like it's not done. But considering that I came in the mail today, it's better than it was in my test video or my mailbag video, which I actually did a before and after with minimal work. All right, so we got this here. These are going on our waist. We're finishing the body of our kit before we move on to the this pops out here. This is where you're gonna keep your beam saber, which is the beam saber holster. Always fun to figure out where they keep them. And in this case, it is the waist, which is good because you want to make use of the skirt, because it's otherwise just traditional. It's just there because that's what you do. And if it can have some sort of functionality, I like that. But we'll snap these together. It was pointed out to me after my last stream on Tuesday or Thursday that I missed a step. I literally missed a step, y'all. Be the first to admit it. I forgot to put this piece on, so this just looked exposed. I think it still looked good because it was still this nice color. But yeah, I had missed a piece. I think that looks great. You really should be able to get a sense of the color on this kit, which is very nice. It is a very nice color on this model kit. This I don't know what you call this red, but this version, it's maroonish. It's like a light maroon. It's very nice. So put that on there, and we are body complete as soon as I get this snapped on. Let's see. What did I want to say about streaming and Gunpla stuff? Oh, it's been almost a week. I arrived in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach area, this past Sunday. So I'm here almost a week. So my main observations are the big one is Central Air. Oh, wow. Central Air rules. Central Air is unbelievable. I kind of can't believe I've lived without it. My parents had air conditioning when I grew up, the house I grew up in, which is not this house, and so I've been accustomed to it in the past. We'll put this right there while we're building, so you can still see the goods. Um, so I've worked on it, and I mean I've had it in the past, which has been there. We go. That's a great spot for it. While I build, or start our backpack. So I've had central air in the past, and it's been very good, but y'all, it is incredible right now. Just it's so hot out and humid out, and I don't feel that. I occasionally, like, I have to do a lot in this house to feel the heat, to sweat. It takes a lot of effort to sweat in here. It's just comfortable all the time. Uh, and I could say that considering I'm not paying for, you know, the electricity bill. So I'll say it rules. Essential air, like an East Coast term, like nobody in Texas calls it that. We just refer to AC. So, Lashbrook. It is definitely an East Coast thing because uh, there are parts of this country that don't have air conditioning at all. But East Coast, particularly New England area, uh, air conditioning means an air conditioning unit that you put in a room. Like, especially in an apartment situation, I have an air conditioner, my roommate has an air conditioner, if we had one. Neither of us had one. Um, and central air is the invention of, having the HVAC unit in the entire house or apartment. And that is a rarer thing. So generally, when we say air conditioning on the East Coast, we've meant uh, centralized air. Um, yes, and yeah, and it makes sense that you'd be like, I don't know what central air means. It it's just that it means that there's not an air conditioner in every room, and you don't have to turn them on when you need them. It's just air conditioned, and there's a thermostat that controls the air conditioning, which for a lot of people is just their base reality, and I understand that. Um, it is not my base reality, like it has not been my base reality in the past. It is my current reality, and it rules. But yeah, that is the thing. So, because sometimes I'll uh, we put all our recycling and trash in the garage until it's time to take it to the dump or whatever. Um, because they don't do trash pickup in this housing area here. You have to bring your trash to a place. It's close, but so you do that whenever you want, which is nice when you have like a lot of trash. You just have to do it. Um, but it does mean that I have to go into the garage, which is not air conditioned, and oh boy, sometimes that just sucks. Uh, I remember visiting family in Maryland, and I think they had AC or central air too, and I mostly just never had to deal with it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just like so. When I lived in New York, there were 2 to 3 months out of the year where you really wanted air conditioning, and the rest of the year you didn't need it. You had a window open and you had a fan going. Maybe you had overhead fans, and you were just fine. You were just fine. Um, Maybe it's the fact you visit in the winter. Yeah, that's totally possible. So, some houses weren't built with central air, or some apartment buildings weren't built with centralized air. I think when you think about like Jeff Gersman, talks about like because his area, it it didn't always get hot, or up until a few years ago, traditionally it didn't get hot there. So people didn't have air conditioning because it didn't require it. Um, and now, like, the world has changed and it's hotter longer. But yeah, you might have just visited when, having, because like basically like New York, you have rooms with air conditioners if you're going to have an air conditioner, and you have radiator heat in every room that you want to heat. So the living room, sometimes the kitchen, not always the kitchen, the bathroom, and the bedrooms have radiators. and you can kind of turn it up and down a little bit, but you can't really fiddle with it. That's common for New York. It is different other places, but that's commonly how New York is. So working on this is the connector for the backpack for the backpacks, the different styles or the ways to connect it. So we finished that. Um, but yeah, it is. It's just different things for that. Uh, but I'm getting real used to it. I go out and it's like, woof, it's hot. Another thing, I'll say it. To be real with folks, my daily walks, I'm not wearing a mask for my walks, and I'll say that only because I don't actually run into anyone. The occasion, so look. If I went in the morning, there'd be more people walking their dogs or whatever. But I'm going in the afternoon, and I am literally only seeing people work in their yards. And I know that that is a difference, a cultural difference that I've had from New York that I have to recognize is that for me it was okay. Well, when I leave my apartment, I am walking into literal people. People are going to be everywhere. They're going to be on the sidewalk. The grocery store is going to be full of people. I'm going to walk to my bank, and there's going to be a ton of people. That was my reality. My reality here is I don't run into anyone. I literally do not see anybody. I walk out of this house. I walk for about 45 minutes. I have a route that I take, uh, and I just see cars. I only see cars. So I'm not wearing a mask. Here, if it's outdoor, you just have to. The rule is to socially distance. Indoors, wear a mask. That is generally the philosophy here. Now, to be fair, it's a bad one, and people are dying in South Carolina at an incredible rate, and it's a fucking problem. Believe me, that's a fucking problem, and I'm aware of that. So, uh, I have my I have a mask in my pocket anytime I go anywhere. I haven't really gone places. I talked a little bit about my bank trip um, on Thursday. Didn't go any place on Friday. Oh no, I did. Okay, I did go a place on Friday. Didn't go any place today outside of my walk. Uh, so yesterday, oh boy, it's real good, real good. I'll talk about this. So anytime I come to South Carolina, come here, see my folks. One thing we always do, is my dad and I go to this bar and grill. It's somewhat of a biker bar, but it's also just like people that, kind of want to see sports, but don't want to go to a sports bar, but they want to see the game or whatever. Now, they've been doing outdoor seating, and they've been doing curbside pickup, where you can call in your order, you come, you roll down your window, they give you the food, you give them the money. The waitress is wearing a mask, you put your mask on before you roll the windows down. It's a system. Would I like it more if you paid via credit card over the phone and you came and they put it down and walked away and you walked up and grabbed it? Yes, I'd prefer that rather than rolling down a window. But still safer than this. So we go to this place, Greg's, we're going to get takeout because he's like, do you want to eat outside? And I was like, I'd rather not. I'd just rather not. As much as I can avoid eating, like with people who are not wearing, people who are around, and because it's outdoors, they're not wearing masks. Like, if I can avoid that, I want to fucking avoid that. So we don't. So we get the food to go. And y'all, just such good ribs. Just, you'd be amazed how good these baby back ribs covered in sauce are. You'd be so surprised how good these ribs are. They're just such good ribs. And they're not expensive. Come with fries, the fries are fine. Come with coleslaw, not my jam, not my thing. But sure, if that's what you like, okay. And just so good. Just so good. I had my favorite ribs on and it was so nice. Oh, I've been craving them. I usually get them once a year at Christmas time when I visit, so having them again was real good. Uh, um, so that was really awesome. Mostly, I've just been reflecting on things. Um, I'm going to give a retweet. See if we can drum up a little bit of folks coming to. Maybe we can get a couple people to come by. I'm happy to have whoever's watching. I'm always happy. I will certainly stream for nobody, but if I can have a few people, more people here, that would be great. That's all it is. Uh, I don't want to put pressure on the folks watching to feel like they have to contribute to chat. Feel free to just hang out. Uh, if you want to chat, you're more than welcome to. Um, but yeah, so that was good. I got my bill for my final gas payment for National Grid, and that was just a little less than my normal bill, but it was final, and I paid that, so that's nice. I'm waiting to get my electric bill, and I don't know what that's going to be to close out my account, but that was good. Uh, Happy about that, just to be done with it. It's just nice to be done with it. Some of these final things feel weird, but that feels pretty good. I've got G here. So yeah, so the backpack is also like a standing platform. It's a bit like the Green Goblin's flyer. Um, it is kind of similar. These are not super uncommon, especially for Gundam that do not have like jet propulsion. Having these things able to get them from A to B is a thing that's pretty common in mobile suits. But the idea that it's also your backpack that converts to it is pretty cool. Um, Seed had a few cool ideas. It had some thoughts. It had some ideas of what it kind of show it could be. All right, so this goes like this. I'm gonna flip it over, and then this goes in. Wait, yeah, this, yeah. Some of this stuff takes a second to figure out. Like, how do you want me to connect this? Uh, they're big and like the OG Gundam and Seed only, I think. Yes, yeah, the OG Gundam. Yeah, Seed is kind of like a Seed as it rightfully is an attempt to relaunch Gundam and pay homage to the traditional ones and kind of retell some of those stories, as that is a key feature of the Seed series. Having this thing feels right, and also having it be like very much a what do you call it? Having it very much be like a throwback thing, and then very like unique to the show. So I gotta figure out why does this not want to connect. So I think this. So this goes like this. Okay, I had it up. I had it on wrong, and then watch them slide right on. Yep, once I'm doing it right. Oh, weird. Doing it correctly is not an issue, and in fact worked perfectly. How strange. How strange. All right, so then this goes on this. Aha. So this goes this. Go. Working on our our platform here. I got to put a few more pieces on. Tightly fit these parts. H. We have done so little with H. We've been doing a lot. We've done nothing with H. H is the first time we've gotten into this whole sheet, and we will be using it a lot for the weapons and mobile platform and various other components. But yeah, we haven't seen any of H yet. But you can tell it's because we're going to use it for this. So we'll get some stuff out here. Yeah, so I'm mostly getting settled, trying to figure things out. I sent out a tweet. I sent out a Patreon thing today. If you are a patron, thank you. And also check it out because $3, $5, and $10 patrons can vote on what game I play this coming Wednesday at 9 p.m. for my bonus stream. The options are Twitch Sings, Hearthstone, because there's a big Hearthstone patch coming on Tuesday. It won't necessarily affect the decks I like to play, but it may affect the meta. So we'll see if it does. Um, so there's that, and then the third option is not a video game, but instead an anime like roundup where I will talk about the current shows that I'm currently watching. The new ones, the summer shows that I'm checking out, and also talk about the shows that are coming back. Um, that are like they're re-airing the episodes that ran before, so they're back, but they're not really back till the end of July. Shows the two that I know for sure that are shows that I want to watch is uh, the sorry Food Wars has restarted, is airing the episodes from the third this final season. Um, and then when they get to the new one, then it'll be back to streaming platforms because the streaming platforms already have those episodes, so they're not going to like tell you that they're back. They're there, which makes sense. And then Diary of Our Days at Breakwater, which was one of my beginning of my favorite shows, at the beginning of the season. No word on Gallon Dino if that's coming back and if they're going to re-air episodes. They were pretty far into the season, so I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't know if it's going to come back, and I don't know if it should necessarily come back because a big part of Gallon Dino was the live action elements, and they probably shouldn't do those, especially with Tokyo, with Japan having some sort of handle on things, but Tokyo being still having a lot of issues. Um, they announced there's a delay in My Hero Academia, the manga, because uh, they are going fully digital so that people can work from home. Because apparently they weren't fully digital; they were a lot of analog on that show. There were a lot of like print out stuff and send it to people. So they're going fully digital, and it's taking longer than it originally anticipated, which is weird, but good for them. I mean, very good for the staff to be able to not have to go into an office. Uh, but it'll be interesting to see what shows actually come back because there were a few that are on hiatus that nobody knows the status of yet because they haven't announced it. And when they do announce it, then people will find out what's up. But right now, kind of up in the air. So yeah, so I've got those options. I'm excited. I'm excited to do any of those. Wait, how does this look? So I always like playing Hearthstone, so be happy to play Hearthstone on stream. Always happy to talk about anime and oh yeah, so Hearthstone is one, anime talk is another, and going back into the wonderful world of uh, 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 Twitch Sings is the other option. Okay, I have to look at photos, try to figure out this description of how this piece goes together leaves a lot to be desired. It doesn't really do a good job. Okay, great. So, because it's like this piece is like this, and then that fell off, so I have to put it back on. And then this goes. Okay, I think that's right. And then this goes in like that. So yeah, hello, welcome, welcome to Build with Baer, working on the Justice Gundam, as you can see there. Um, Working on the mobile platform, the backpack that turns into basically a glider uh, very reminiscent of the Green Goblins thing, is what I describe it as, or what I've described it as. But yeah, it's cool. Uh, this kit is one of the greatest of all time. No hate. Yeah. No. So here's the thing. I am not a Gundam Seed hater. Some people dislike that show very much. I understand that. I don't love Gundam Seed, but I respect it, and in particular, I think the kits are great. I mean, it's got the Blitz Gundam. The Blitz Gundam is the closest thing you get to a Death Scythe, outside of being a Death Scythe, and then the Love Phantom from Gundam Build Fighters. Uh, hate the show, the kits are fire. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a hater of it. It's not my favorite. I see what it was trying to do. I don't think it's successful in what it's trying to do. Um, which is they were trying to appeal to a modern audience and tell classic Gundam stories instead of telling a story that appealed to a modern audience by being a modern story, which is like what Iron Blooded Orphans is. Iron Blooded Orphans, I think, succeeds because it is saying, hey, we are going to use Gundams to tell the story we want to say. Strike Gundam is still one of the best base Gundam designs. So yeah, Strike Gundam is great. As I said, I think this Justice Gundam rules. The Gundam Blitz, I think, is a fantastic kit because it is basically a Death Scythe. And then the Love Phantom is the only thing closer to a Death Scythe because the Love Phantom is a Death Scythe with spider arms. So, that's particularly always been a cool kit. It hasn't been around that long, but, I love it. All right, so we need more H, more G, working on this mobile platform here. Yeah. Yeah, I think the kits are really fire, but I think that I think the show was unsuccessful in what it was trying to do. I think it didn't pull off what it was hoping to pull off, and that's a shame because you want you always want Gundam shows to succeed. Uh, Apparently, uh, China is getting its own large-scale Gundam because a new series is going to. They're appealing to the Chinese market by literally building a Gundam replica in China. I didn't read all of the details, but what I did read sounded like complete and utter nonsense in a way that I really enjoy. As a fan of complete and utter nonsense, that sounds real good and nonsense. Uh, uh, oh yeah, IBO, Iron Blooded Orphans. I think probably more than any other Gundam show has fans who would not consider themselves to be Gundam fans. Perhaps G Gundam, because G Gundam is just such a weird nonsense thing that if you like fighting anime and shonen, you might like G Gundam. Uh, so I think G Gundam always had somewhat of an appeal to some people who don't consider themselves to be Gundam fans. But yeah, Iron Blood and Orphans has a lot of fans who are just like, oh, it's just great storytelling, and then and they're in mechs, but I just pretend it's like another mech show. Uh, oh, War in the Pocket is that's some good anime. If you want to be I appreciate the horrors of war. Not so much with well, I mean, Double Zeta just got weird. But Zeta is an attempt to be a little bit more honest about the hardships that folks face, and I have appreciated that in the past and will continue to appreciate that. But yeah, it's like sometimes you're just like, okay, some of these just want to be cool. Uh, hey Pat. Hello, Lord Crashington. Welcome, welcome to Build with Bear Workshop. Happy to have you here as always. Thanks for folks that are coming in. We started off a little light. We're still light tonight, but I'm hoping that some people will come at their leisure. As always, I just want to say, you know, I want to do this for an audience and have people viewing as I go. You're never under obligation to watch. If you can only do 1 day a week, I stream 6 hours of building a week. If you can make one, great. If you can make, several, great. If you can get here when I start, awesome. If you come in for an hour or you come in for half an hour, whenever, great. There are a few of you folks out there. I'm literally not going to say who because you're not even here yet. But in about 20 or so minutes, you're going to come in because I'm going to talk about the current anime, and you don't have anyone to talk about current anime with. So you come in for the anime talk, and you might not even be here for the build talk. I see you. I understand where you're coming from, and I get it. But I definitely see you, and I know what you're up to. Uh, yeah, I appreciate that. That's the goal of the stream. Is uh, I have been incredibly blessed to build a community of very warm, nice people. My chat is superb, and not everyone can say that, and not everyone gets that, and I'm very lucky about that. Outside of Nightbot and occasionally people kind of coming in. Uh, Warm, nice people. I don't think I said that. Warm, nice people. I believe I said Harold. Thank you for hosting, Harold. Uh, just ready to argue with hideous weebs about why any anime where people are sucked into RPG sucks. Just kidding, Connor. Hey, I'm going to talk about an anime in the next hour that is not an RPG, um, but uh, it is an overpowered MC character. It's the kind of trash that I love. Oh boy, the Misfit at Demon Lord Academy is 100% my sort of trash, and I'm so happy about it. It's such garbage, and I'm so happy to watch it. Um, so we'll talk about that when time comes. But no, I will say that the style of isekai, where you go inside of a video game, uh, often does not have stakes, and that is, in general, a bummer. And that can be kind of bad because you're playing a video game. It doesn't really matter. Uh, I will say that Boofery, I don't want to get hurt, so I made my defense whatever. I max my defense, but it's Boofery is easy way to find it. Is a show that is about somebody playing a video game in a virtual RPG in a virtual world, and the stakes are you just want to see this nice young lady have a real good time in an MMO RPG, and you want to see the weird choices she made for her stats work out. Like, you want her to do well, and you're psyched about if she's going to do well, um, which adds a lot of stakes to it. Shield Hero. So Shield Hero is interesting. Um, it's not my favorite, mainly because the in a show that is all about the realities of being a hero, and uh, it does a very bad job about hero worship in Raptalia. Uh, there's just anime has this thing, and it's not just anime. It's not just anime, but it is definitely anime. Has this thing about like where if you're enslaved and then you're freed and you stick with the person that was your slave owner and it's just fucked up. I don't like that. Uh, yeah, I think that like Shield Hero is while Shield Hero is a modern isekai in most fashions, it is one that is at least aware of the tropes of the genre. So I don't know if it's inside jokes, but it is a bit of self awareness about like there's literally a character that says with great power comes great responsibility, that another guy from their world, and like the Shield Hero laughs about that and is like, okay, dude, all right. And he's like, when he comes over, he's like, I wish I had read more fantasy, or I wish I had played more RPGs. Like he wishes he like has the knowledge of book stuff, but he hasn't played like a lot of these kind of games, and so he's like, I wish I had more experience with this and understood it better. Um, because he thinks that's what's keep holding him back. It's not exactly what's holding him back. So like yeah, there's stuff that's interesting. There's an awareness with Shield Hero. Um, but I would say like some isekai is totally fine. I mean modern isekai is really fun because postmodern isekai I should say. Like didn't I say to make my abilities average in the next life? And that time I got reincarnated as slime. Coming this fall is So I'm a Spider, So What? That looks really fun. Um, there is an isekai coming out in the fall, because of course there is. There's another one coming out that is uh, a guy gets reborn and he has control over slimes. That's the only magic ability he has. So he's just going to like make his family and his village life better via slimes and his own memories of modern technology. And I don't know how that works, but it's a slice of life isekai. It's a different world isekai, but it is focused on being a slice of life, and that sounds pretty okay. Like that could be fun. So I don't know. I know some people hate this the subgenre. I'm not necessarily a hater, but there's bad. I mean, certainly. Um, Yeah, Gate is a weird one, right? Because uh, Gate is, in many ways, should be a good, pardon the pun, gateway for people because it's action oriented. It's like, hey, what if the modern Japanese military showed up in a medieval, like, magic land with their tanks and their guns and their helicopters? And you were like, well, they would just clean house. And you'd be like, yup. Uh, but it feels a little bit like, I also like the idea that your liaison to that world is an otaku. That is a fun choice. I think the show kind of meanders and it in ways that doesn't really do it for me. I think the dragon fights are very cool. I think focusing on the girl that cannot deal with the fact that her father passed away is an interesting look. I don't think they do anything good with it. I think the blonde elf person does not get any good closure, uh, and I think for the most part it's just like an advertisement for Japan's military. So it's got some weirdness to it. But as a piece of pop culture, it is interesting. Um, Whereas I think like a show like Drifters is maybe more accurate of like, hey, what if real good murderers from different times of history showed up in this one fantasy world? Uh, she's from Harem. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of harem stuff in that show, which is a bummer. Again, when we get into the modern stuff, the weekly stuff, um, we'll talk about one show that has introduced a new character, and her liking our main guy is a thing that I wish wasn't part of her story, but other than that, it's still pretty good. Um, uh, no, you're not ranting, Jaw. Chat has been pretty quiet tonight, which is okay. And also, this is a thing that this was an accident. Talking about anime in on this stream was a thing where I was like, hey, I guess I'll mention the stuff I'm watching, and a certain portion of my audience, not everybody, because there's some of y'all that put up with anime talk because it's not your jam, and I appreciate that. But there is a portion of the audience out here that is just like, oh, good, I can talk to someone about anime. Oh, good. And I get that because sometimes it's not a thing that you have like a lot of people you can chat with about, or you've got people that have, like obviously my tastes are my tastes. I like dumb action stuff but not cruel action stuff. So there's some action things that I don't like. Uh, I like slice of lives, but I prefer my slice of lives to be chill and not sad. So some of the slice of life stuff I don't watch. Um, I watch some very popular things like My Hero Academia and One Piece, but I don't watch other popular things like the debut of the third season of my teen romantic snafu. The third season of that show is out, and I'm sure there are a bunch of people I know who will be watching that. I'm not going to watch it because I don't think it's fun. Uh, I don't like Hachiman, and he is supposed to be your somewhat sympathetic main character. Uh, I don't watch anything more than 3 seasons. I'm sorry, just not for me. I understand. I've said this about Food Wars. Food Wars in the fourth plate, the thing ended. They won. They did the thing. Everything happened the way it was quote unquote supposed to happen. In all intents and purposes, the show should be done. And I was like, I wasn't really feeling the idea of a fifth season because I was like, I know this is the last one, but like, I don't know. I feel like they accomplished everything. Now they've tricked me, not tricked, they haven't tricked me, they've manipulated me by having my favorite character in the show, Megumi, move on to this tournament. So we're going to get more of my favorite character in the show, which is a dirty, rotten trick that they have pulled on me to get me to watch this. Because as I said, I wasn't necessarily thinking I was going to watch it. But then I was like, well, I guess I am because the character I really like is doing more. She's just the best. So it's like, okay, I guess I'll watch this. But I see, I get your point. I talk about Black Clover. There was a new episode of Black Clover on Tuesday, so I talked about that on Thursday. And Black Clover has over 100 episodes. And I totally understand if people are like, that's great, Pat. I'm never going to watch that. That's too many episodes. Like, yeah, I get that. I totally get that. If that's like not your jam, yeah, sure. Then it shouldn't be your jam. For me, that is a show I really like, so I am happy to watch it. Okay, wait. So I put these on wrong. Gotta flip them. Uh, Black Clover is an exception. Yeah, I mean it's a good ongoing. Gintama. Yeah, I can understand that. That's a show that is. Uh, it's just old enough that like I didn't watch it when it was coming out, and going back to it feels weird. I got no disrespect for people that like that show. It's just and I think it does some brilliant stuff, but it's just a show that I'm like I feel like I missed the boat on Gintama, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna like get to a place where I want to like watch it, uh, and like really dive into it because I feel like I just missed out on it. Uh, just wasn't to listen. Yeah, that came up in a list of like a show that somebody should watch, like people trying to recommend anime to people, and I was like, this must be a joke because this is not a good like. I've watched 3 anime. What should I watch next? And it's like, no, I know it's action, but like that's not like that's not a show you just recommend to someone willy nilly. It shows an investment. I wanted to catch up on Pokemon for the new season, but boy, should I. So, I like the Sun and Moon anime adaptation, and I think you can just. Not everyone does. I particularly think that it's pretty cool. Uh, uh, but I know that some people don't like Sun and Moon. So the thing I don't like about Sun and Moon is they like de-aged Ash and he's going to school and they changed the art style up a lot. But they didn't erase any of his history. Which so like he's still traveled with Ash and Misty, so it doesn't like that doesn't make any sense. Like they could have just completely relaunched Pokemon, but they didn't. They want to still have all their Pokemon memories, and I'm like, well then what the fuck? Then why does Ash look like that? I used to play pro Pokemon and battle one-on-one. You didn't waste your life. You just did a thing for a while. It's just that thing happened to be Pokemon battles. Not a waste of your life. This is a thing. It's a thing you did. So now a thing you can say. Top 10 on the ladder. Heck yeah. Well, that's a thing you get to say now in conversation. Be like, hey, what's a thing that's embarrassing for you? And you can always win by saying, I'm a former pro Pokemon player. It just has to be a fun conversation starter. All right, so we're going to replicate this part on the other side, basically. Uh, I'm at episode 113, so I sucked that much into it. Here's the thing. Astrology, I don't know. Like, I haven't watched every season of Pokemon. I didn't watch a lot of the black and white era, like the black and white game era anime. Um, oh, we still building the side. I thought we were done with the side, but no, we're gonna finish this up. We're gonna do more H pieces here, and then more C pieces, and yeah, some E. All right, we're gonna really finish up this side. Put on these weapon things and these wings. Let's do it. H11. We're going for it. Putting together more parts. Uh, Seeing the different designs for Ash with each era is crazy. Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is that, like, over time, some of it doesn't look super different, really. It was like, oh, we introduced some new characters. Oh, we changed Ash's gear up. I would say Sun and Moon is the most dramatic because they really changed him. They really, like I said, they, like, really made him look like a child again, like a full child. Like, obviously, he didn't grow up that much over the years, but he certainly aged a bit. I think mainly because they wanted to keep the art of the other characters from the video game the same. So they were like, well, we can't have Ash be his age. But then, like I said, they could have just completely rebooted it, and instead they were like, no, he's done all that stuff. And that's weird. It's a weird choice. All right, so let's keep working on this. We got this piece here. We got to get a C in here. So we'll do this one. Get this going. C8. We'll get some more of this platform built. One thing I want to talk about, like food stuff. I mentioned this on Twitter. A thing that I noticed. So obviously, I've been cooking for myself for years, right? That's what you do. Cook for myself. I eat by myself. One of my roommates, years and years ago, would like to do every once in a while. Would be like, hey, on this date, do you want to like cook something together and like hang out? And I, like if I was available, I would say yes. But that was one roommate. Most of my roommates have never really been about that. So I'm used to like cooking for myself, right? Well, that means buying groceries, obviously, and preparing things for yourself and doing all that part. So I got really used to having like the same or similar meals over the course of a couple days, right? Because like, well, I'm uh, I'm here and I'm eating stuff, and I've got to like finish this. I just cooked up all this chicken, and I got to eat all this chicken, so I'll have chicken for the next couple days. And oh well, I've got pasta, so I'm just gonna eat pasta for the next 2 days, and that kind of thing, right? My folks are not that way, and it helps that they were cooking for two and now cooking for three with me included. Uh, every day is a different thing, and leftovers are for lunch, or whatever, or maybe another meal. Maybe we get a big, you cook a big roast, and then you got enough for another meal. But like, yeah, every night is something different, and maybe 2 nights or 3 nights, 2 nights in a row you have a salad, but then it's like, oh no, then we'll have a different vegetable. We get some root vegetables going here, and then and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and well, we got this, and it's pasta tonight and a pot roast tomorrow, and you know last night, because my mom went out to have lunch with a friend, which I don't love, but whatever. And And my dad and I got ribs, and it was like, get whatever you want for dinner. And I just had spaghetti, but we had spaghetti like 3 days ago, so it wasn't like it had been yesterday. And I've got to get used to that because it's weird to me. It's not weird eating pasta 3 nights in a row because you made too much pasta and now you got to eat it, uh, or eating garden salads 3 days in a row because you got fresh like veggies and you got to eat them up because you don't want them to go bad. Like what I was doing was comparatively weird, I think, but normal for me and normal for like only having food and enough food for one person. I think was like pretty normal, and so that has been an odd thing to kind of come to terms with is not the right word for it or the phrase for it, but like just be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you eat different foods on different days. Of course you do. Why wouldn't you do that? But it's been weird to like have that like just be like, oh yeah, I don't know. That's a thing that is just one of many things that I am trying to make sense of while I get settled here in my new normal for a while anyway. Uh, yeah, right now I'm just trying to figure that stuff out. Found out because this arrived, and also, so this was someone bought this on my wish list on Thursday, and it came today. So there must be a Amazon fulfillment center pretty close by. So that's very good to know because that did not take long at all to arrive. So that's cool. It's bad for obviously the employees there that are probably working in unsafe conditions, certainly less than safe conditions. Um, but it came fast, and then like yesterday at like 9 in the morning, I was like, uh, oh, I I need to get some AAA batteries here for my keyboard is a wireless keyboard. It's junky. I don't recommend it, but it's a wireless keyboard, and my mouse is a wireless keyboard, which is pretty good. Uh, so they both take AAA batteries, and I was like, oh, you know what? I can feel it in the mouse. I can tell when I need new AAA's. I'm out of AAA's. Let me go get some. No AAA's in this house. Neither of my parents have anything that uses AAA batteries, I guess. Uh, so I had to buy AAA batteries, and I bought them on Amazon like Prime yesterday at like I said, like 9 something in the morning, and they arrived today. So there is definitely an Amazon fulfillment center pretty close by, which for folks that are looking to buy model kits, for me, perhaps, if that's something they want to do, which they are under no obligation to do, but certainly could, as I will talk about during the pause for the cause in just a few moments, because we're almost there, almost ready for the pause for the cause. Yeah, looks like some stuff comes here pretty fast, which is cool. Um, so that is a plus. Trying to get stuff, you know, which they were supposed to come, or at least the batteries were supposed to come on Sunday. The fact that this light appeared today, I was very surprised about. I did not expect that. I almost said I didn't see that coming, but that felt like I don't need to be making puns. If I'd done, I would have been like, I did not see that coming. But now I'll just say, didn't expect it. All right, so this is eight. Which one's H2? This is H2. This is H2, and it goes on like this. So yeah, so I'm still figuring out light stuff. It's good, but it's not perfect. It's not exactly where I want it, but I'm still figuring it out. But I'm feeling pretty good about it. Okay, so that goes on there like that. And this goes on like this. But I do kind of need to get more, just natural light on me that isn't this like halo thing you can see, which is from that. But the fact that you can see what I'm building pretty easily is good. I'm glad about that. All right, so then this goes, I need C2. So once I compile this, we will take our pause for the cause, and I'll try to be brief about it, and then I'll get into some modern anime talk while we keep working on this. I thought for sure that we were going to finish up today, but that is unlikely. Most likely we will finish the backpack today, and then we will still have to work on the weapons on Monday. I have a new kit on Monday. The next kit we're building was a gift. It was for my wish list, and that is a variant of the Zaku 2, which is beautiful coloring of the Zaku 2. It's a high grade, so should be a pretty short build as far as that. But hey, always fun to work on a Zaku 2. Always a good time. So looking forward to working on that. And it's, like I said, some pretty cool colors. Andrew bought that, which is very nice. But yeah, I think that'll be Monday that I start that, because I think we will finish the backpack and then get to some of the weapons today. Although we might actually finish the weapons. Who knows? We might finish it all today, but I don't think we will. And then this goes on here. Great. So that part of the backpack is done. First and foremost, I want to. We're taking a pause for the cause. This is just me talking about ways, it's like an ad read. Talk about ways you can support the channel if you're so inclined. You're under no obligation to do so, but if you'd like to, that would mean the world to me. First and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Baer Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. Let the people know about the cool emotes you can use here. Let them know that you're a subscriber. You can use your Twitch Prime coin. If you have Amazon Prime, you link that with your Twitch, you get this coin. It's like free money. I get the same cut no matter what. So you can subscribe with that. You can also subscribe with cash money. We're doing great on subscriptions, and that means a lot to me. So thank you so much for those that are subscribing. You can also gift subs. If you want to be the top of the gift sub leaderboard, right now, all of the gift sub leaderboard is people who gifted one sub, which is rad. And thank you so much for doing that. But if you gifted 2 subscriptions, you top that leaderboard. You could also do bits and coins. We've got a leaderboard there of bits and coins. And I believe Pride promotion is still happening for a little while longer, where if you do over 300, it goes to charity, and people get some motes. And that also goes for gifting subs and renewing a subscription. Reminder, if you use Twitch Prime, you have to manually renew that. It doesn't automatically renew. So hit that notification thing, renew it. And if you are using cash money to renew, make sure you put that click there so that we know you're doing it. And we can all be like, oh, cool, this person resubbed. Again, I'm going to talk through these real quick because I want to get back to building. So we'll go through that. I have a Patreon. Patreon.com/PatBaer is my Patreon. I have a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. If you join at the $3 level, you will see that the most recent post, which was for 3, 5, and 10, is to vote on what I play on Wednesday. Wednesday is my next thing. So either I'll play one of 2 games, Twitch Sings or Hearthstone, or I will do a video where I talk about what anime I'm watching, kind of delve into it, and talk about the anime that's coming out at the end of July, because they're restarting, like Food Wars and Diary of Our Days at Breakwater are restarting, and then there'll be modern ones, and I think that also may be the case with the Millionaire Detectives Agency or whatever that anime is called, the not Batman but also an asshole, a bigger asshole. Anime I think is coming back. Anyway, that's my Patreon. You can join that. There's $1 tier, $3, $5, $10. If a Twitch sub doesn't work for you, feel free to do that. Also, donations. So normally when I buy kits and equipment, I buy model kits, I buy equipment. You can see the light here. I would have just bought that. It's on my wish list, but I sometimes I'll just buy that stuff on my own. So maybe I'm going to buy a ring light to kind of shine more light on me. I don't know. But any donations you give there one time through my coffee or Streamlabs or PayPal Streamlabs. It'll pop up here on screen. The other ones won't. That's a way to do one-time deal. And anything I make through any of these things goes to buying more kits and more equipment so that I can keep building. I have, as I mentioned, I have an Amazon wish list. This kit was bought off a wish list. My friend Jeremy bought this for my birthday, which was very nice of him. Jeremy doesn't watch, but he did buy me a very cool kit to build, and I'm going to make sure that I send him photos directly in case he doesn't see the tweets about the photos, so he knows how cool this kit is. But yeah, I have a wish list. I try to update it pretty often. Sometimes things become unavailable because of the world, but there's at least one thing that's pre-order. Um, some stuff has free shipping, some doesn't. Uh, but yeah, I put a bunch of high grades up there that are pretty reasonably priced, and I put some Lego sets and some real grades and some master grades, uh, a bunch of different cool model kits. Some stuff is priced poorly for the time because they're coming from Japan, so it's weird. So like, there's an RE100 that from Zeta Gundam that I'm like, don't buy that right now because that's $70 and that's too much. That's going to come down in price. But some kits might not. The Exia Dark Matter is always around $60. That's probably not going to drop in price. But yeah, I got a bunch of kits, and then at the very bottom, I've got a new pair of snipper clips because these are getting a little old. And then also, literally a butt pad. I put a butt pad on there because the chair I'm sitting in is not a gaming chair or an office chair. It is a chair. It is just a chair, and it's gonna hurt my butt over time. I literally don't like sitting on it. So I put that on there. That might just be something I get when I get my next Twitch deposit. USA Gundam Store. You can buy kits there instead. Well, you buy a gift card, and then you send me a whisper on Twitch or a DM on Twitter, because my DMs are open, and I buy something from there. Sometimes it's pre-orders, sometimes whatever. It's a Florida business that are family-owned and operated. They are running basically one person in the warehouse at a time, and they just change their hours to be even longer. And they're a great company. I really, really like USA Gundam Store. So that is another way to support me is to buy a gift card from USA Gundam Store. And okay, I have a Discord. We're gonna get to building again in just a moment or two for folks that are patient, really waiting. I appreciate that. I have a Discord. Join my Discord. I post build photos after every stream. People post photos of stuff they're doing. There's occasional discussion of things in some of the videos that I make, which is very nice of people to chat in there. It's a nice little chat. Let's see. I made a video this past Monday called Pat Baer's Anime Club. It's an ongoing series that I make on YouTube. This past episode I talked about is a preview. I talked about a couple shows that I'm excited about. And 3 of the 4 shows right now I can say are good. And one of them, and because we're going to talk about it, I'm a little worried about one of the characters. Because I don't think they're going to handle him well. And then we've also got Baering the List. This past Wednesday, I put up a video about snacks, and people had opinions. It was a fine video. All right, so we're gonna get back to building. I'm gonna talk about some modern, current anime. And 2 of the shows we'll talk about were actually listed in my video about shows that I was excited about this season. So I'm going to talk about that. But I am going to drink a little water. We'll do that here. Water. It's good. Okay, I have it very far away from me. Okay, so we're going to do what we just did on here, but on the other side. The first anime I'm going to talk about is a show that I don't know if you would like, but I think is cute and fun, and that is enough for me right now. It is a show called Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. It is on. It is currently on Funimation. That's how you can get it. And the premise is that there is a guy with resting asshole face, resting bastard face, resting bitch face, whatever you want to call this dude. Uh, he just has a mean mug, and he doesn't really have a lot of friends. Uh, in high school, he was on the swim team, and so he had some juniors on the swim team that respected him and liked him. But he's kind of just going through college, like going to classes and seeing what's up. But he doesn't really. He does a lot of solo stuff because some people think are scared of him, and then he also doesn't try to correct that behavior. Well, one of his juniors, so his, considers calls him senpai, is Uzaki, and she gets to college, the same college as him, runs into him, and for the first year, they're kind of doing their own thing. They're kind of running their own circles. That she's not really paying attention, but every time she looks over and notices, he's alone, and he's not doing anything, and he's not with people, and it kind of frustrates her. So apparently, she was annoyed for an entire year about that. And I think that's just to age her up to a college age, like appropriate age, because this is a romantic comedy show. I don't know if that's why they did that, but basically she was just like annoyed for a year, and now she's like, now that she's settled in college, she is going to basically pester him into having a social life, especially if that means being with her. Now, I have not told you this about Uzaki-chan yet, but Uzaki is a short, petite. When she smiles, you don't really see teeth, but you see a fang. She's a fang girl, short, petite, and busty. And that is, and she appears innocent. She may be an innocent person. She may be more. She is aware, though, of what she's got going on. I think she's more aware of that than she's not. Um, and there are at least two, maybe three moments in this first episode um, where she, like, there's a misunderstanding because like, literally the guy says a couple times, phrasing, because she says something that is, like, could be taken out of context and makes him seem like a jerk. Um, it is fun. She's playfully devilish, which I like. I like the choice that she is, like, she's messing with him, like he's gonna, like, oh, she kind of forces herself to tag along with him on what he's gonna go do, and what he's gonna go do is go to the movies, and, like, he's like, all right, I'll pay for you to go see this movie. I have points, and so instead of just being like, oh, thanks so much, she's like, how often do you go to the movies if you have enough points to pay for someone else? Like, she's going to give him the business. And it's playful, and it's attempted for him to, like, get out of his shell. And, one would assume perhaps she also likes him. There's a very fun VR moment. It's a cute rom-com. It's a bit adult in that, like I said, some of the jokes are at the expense of her being either a little clueless about her surroundings or about what she's saying. Uh, and it's still a bit up for debate how clueless she is about that stuff, or if she is just teasing him that way. But some of it is earnest teasing that she's doing, uh, and it is cute. Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out is a cute anime, and I like it. That's it. I think it's cute. Um, Again, it might not be up your alley. It might not be your thing or your cup of tea. I am totally understand if that's the case. I happen to think that it's pretty charming, so I'm into it right now. But again, I can understand if that's not your cup of tea. Because my cup, like I said, like, I'm not watching Monster Girl Doctor. Like, no, I don't want to watch that. I'm not watching the short series, this 12-minute episode thing about a guy who became the strongest human in the world, and now all the females of the world would like to have his babies. Like, that's not a show I want to watch. But this one, I do want to watch that. And if any of those shows are your thing, if you're watching Yes, heavy duty. Monster Girl Doctor is a real thing. It's made by Monster Girl fans for Monster Girl fans, is their tagline, which I appreciate because it's very honest. Um, but yeah, it is. That's a real anime. Um, it is. It is a medieval fantasy world where monsters and humans have made peace, and so there's a guy who is a doctor who specializes in monsters, and it happens to most of his clients are female. I don't know why, and it is just not my horny. It is not my interest in the show, so I'm not going to watch that. But I know people who are, and good for you. There are people who are going to watch that Rent a Girlfriend show. I don't think that's going to be good, but if I hear enough people I know saying, like, actually, this is surprisingly good, then I might give that one a shot. That's the one that I might give a shot more than any other show is Rent a Girlfriend, because it sounds like the premise, like they get into it really quickly, and the premise is just there to get the story started. So that could be good. I don't know if it will be, but it could be good. Anyway, our second show is Fire Force Season 2. Uh, I am going to look up this character's name so that I get it right. Basically, the first pillar makes her threat known. She is not necessarily a part of the evil group, um, but she definitely is looking for the next revolution, next chaos. She's some sort of mystical thing. She's in the burst thing, so she can communicate. She basically takes over Shinra, which is bad, um, and it's kind of a mess. Uh, uh, it's I think it's kind of interesting and weird that the old man who is in charge of the fourth, the company that trains people, he had an experience. Some people, when they have experience, who are not, who are just humans that were not special fire users, when they have an experience with it, some of them have like had definite, eye injuries or whatever. This guy's got a scar that flames up, but the old man who became a masochist is a weird choice. It's a weird choice. He wants to be burned by holy flames, and that's weird. It's kind of creepy. That's not great. I would say that that's not the best, and I'm glad that he's not necessarily around all the time as a character, because it would bum me out if he was there all the time. Um, I will say that we introduced Ogun. So Ogun is a character that apparently knew Shinra and Arthur, the guy who thinks he's a knight. And we do get some more flashback of Arthur and exactly why he feels that way, which is kind of interesting stuff about Arthur. But particularly, I want to talk about Ogun. Now uh, not exactly a great episode for Shinra. Yeah, Lashbrook. I mean, at the end, they give him the opportunity that that Shinra breaks free finally himself. It's actually a great Arthur episode because we don't often get to see we see Arthur, like Arthur has some abilities that no one else seems to have. His plasma kind of weaponry stuff gives him some stuff that other people don't, but he's often just a goofy character, so we don't get to see him be like awesome. But him like holding his own against a deranged Shinra is pretty great. But it's a tough episode for Shinra. Eventually, he does break free, and it does go to show like this is a character who uh, Shinra found his brother and lost his brother. And then he found out that the demon that he blamed for killing his mother is his mother. And that's who he always thought that one day I'm going to kill the demon that killed my mom. And he doesn't get that. And nobody knows how to turn his mom back into a human, or if that's ever possible. And he's in a bad spot. And I like that this shonen is like, hey, this character isn't good. He's not in a good way. And he's exploited for not being in a good way. And it almost works. It's just the fact that he has good ass friends. Or like Arthur's not going to say, that whatever, like, or a very good rival that wants to prove him wrong. And that's what actually saves him, is that he's got good people looking out for him. So that's good. That part's cool and interesting and different and like part of this thoughtful era of oh, that's D. I need E2. A thoughtful era of these kind of shows, and so I'm all for that, and I think it was pretty neat. What I didn't think, I'm very worried about Ogun. Ogun was the guy that was a childhood friend, or not childhood friend, classmate with Arthur and Shinra, and so he's an African American character. He's got cornrows, and he looks pretty awesome. And it didn't happen in the anime yet, but in the manga we know that his ability, his fire ability, is called Flamey Ink. Now it may be changed in the anime and not called Flamey Ink. I might just call it Flame Ink. But basically, tribal tattoos made out of flames cover his body. And that shit's not great. And to be fair, while Ogun is a direct reference to a African god, Shinra is also a reference to the divine. There are plenty of references to gods in that, so I'm not like, they shouldn't do that, although it is weird. But I am saying the fact that your black character in your show covers himself in tribal tattoos made out of fire, that's his ability. It fills me with some trepidation, I will say. I am kind of worried about that. Because I do not know if this show is going to handle it well. When you think of some of the female characters, let's say all of the female characters on the show, I literally think that the nun, the sister, is probably the only character that isn't like a huge problem and a huge nightmare of an issue. And that's bad. That there's only like one female character I can think of that isn't like just a fucking bummer. So that's not great. Anyway, that's Fire Force. I'm going to keep watching because I genuinely do enjoy the show, but I am kind of concerned about what's going on with it. And then there's still a few anime shows that haven't come out yet, and they're not starting until next week. So I will be checking some of those out. But I can tell you about a show that's on one of the first shows to debut this season, that is on its second episode that I watched, and that show is called The Misfit of Demon King Academy, and we figure out why he's a misfit. So I'll give you the short backstory of this thing about this show. So this show is, there was a demon lord, and he was sick of the wars between humans and demons, a war that he had started, or he wanted to end. So he gave up his own life, and using the power of various heroes, put up a magic wall between the different races to demons and spirits and humans to separate them for 1,000 years. 1,000 years, a key would appear. People could open up the door if they wanted to, and then he'd be reincarnated 1,000 years after that. So he got reincarnated. within a month, he aged up to being an adult, able to go to this academy because he has all of the fucking magic. And you wonder, how come people don't think that this is definitely the Demon Lord reincarnated? Well, it turns out part of getting your rank in there is if you're of noble demon blood, you are ranked certain ways, and if you're not of noble demon blood, you are ranked in other ways. He's ranked low because he is considered the son of humans. So he is not he is a child of humans, so he's ranked there. And then the aptitude test, his knowledge of the Demon King is the knowledge of himself. Well, it turns out uh, that he only knows so much about what's going on because we got it here, and there. Okay. Because apparently history has his name wrong. So he got ranked low because his knowledge of himself was too low because people were like that's not the right answer. So it is weird because people are just like still don't think that he's awesome. They don't get that he's overpowered and he knows spells that no one else knows, and the girl that shows up to gets mad immediately at him and tries to threaten him with her demonic eyes, and he's just like, yeah, no, it doesn't. That's not gonna work on me. People don't. Yeah, so he gets in the thing. Turns out, the girl that he was nice to in the first episode, that is his friend who does support magic, has some sort of, I think maybe ice, but definitely support magic. Um, Turns out that she is the sister, but she is an artificial human or creature. She is not. She is made from magic, and there's a little bit of a family drama between the two of them, which gets solved via fighting, because of course it does, because this is an anime, and I'm not saying that the fighting wasn't good, because it was pretty fun. It's very lopsided, because the thing that you have to just figure out magic demon fighting. Yes. Yeah, because it's a school, so they have a competition, and they basically do a capture the flag thing, and there are only two people, and they're like, oh, they're gonna figure out their defense, and he just shows up, and he's like, no, and they're like, well, magic can't hurt us, and he's like, okay, well, what if I pick up the base that you're on and spin it around? Did you prepare for that? And they're like, no. But basically, he wins over the girl that is basically uh he wins over the girl that is mad at him because of course he does. And the sisters make up, and that's real nice. They go visit the folks, and it's cool. I do not appreciate that she kisses him at the end of the episode. Because she's definitely falling for him immediately, and I don't need that. I would much prefer that they just have a friendship. It does mean that my hope is that it means that she won't be immediately and annoyingly tsundere. That she's just gonna be nicer. Although the next episode is about her, something to do with her, and her plan. Oh wait, is it the one you tweeted where the dude baseball spins a castle? Yes, in this episode he baseball spins a castle. It's called the Misfit of Demon King Academy, and he's only a misfit because they don't have a good way to measure his abilities, and also because inherently they're like, oh well, whatever. It's just really funny because he's always right, and he's always got a plan, and he's just like, yeah, no, yeah, yeah, I was able to deflect your incredibly powerful spell and took you all out with, they're like, oh, I can't believe you can use that by yourself. And he's like, I didn't use that spell. I used a low level spell because I'm very strong. I need y'all to understand that I am very, very strong. Um, yeah, so it's good. It's not good. Look, it's not a good show. It is a bunch of nonsense. I love it because I like overpowered main characters with fun supporting casts. Uh, I love it. I like a show where a character is often not worried about what's going on because of how overpowered he is. He's just like, yeah, okay, yeah, all right, sure. What's going on? Okay. What are you guys doing? All right. Yeah, I'm not worried about that, and I genuinely like that. Uh, and it seems like there are going to be other characters, but the main trio of these two sisters and him are going to be the main characters, which means that it isn't a super harem show, which I can appreciate. But yeah, I liked it. It's again, this is not an anime for everybody, and if you like looked at it and were like, Pat, no, what is that? Why? What? No. Yeah, of course, and sure, like please, by all means, don't watch it. But I like it. I think it's good and bad. Um, so I want to check. I'm going to check Annie chart for arriving. So there's a couple that I might be checking out in the future. Of course, I'll be watching One Piece probably tomorrow because One Piece comes out during the stream, so I never watch it live on Saturdays or simulcast on Saturdays. So I'll watch that tomorrow. Um, I'll watch on Monday. I'll watch Close and God of High School. I like that. Uh, let's see. On Tuesday, there's a new show called Ninja Collection that is it's like half length series. Um, it is a bunch of modern day ninja fighting monsters. I'm going to watch the first episode of that. Just like on Wednesday, I'm going to watch the first episode of Gibate. That doesn't look good, but I'll probably check out the first episode because I want to try a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to watch the first episode of Wednesday of Mr. Love, Queen's Choice, about the world of men's fashion guys who all fall in love with the same woman that all work at the company that she owns. That doesn't sound like something I want to watch. Maybe it's awesome, and people will be like, yo, the anime of the season is this. And I'll go, okay. But I don't know. Season 2 of No Guns Life has started, but I didn't like the first season of No Guns Life, so I'm not going to watch that. But yeah, there's some new stuff coming out that I at least. So basically, Ninja Collection and Gabate, um, which is another like future thing where there's a samurai and a ninja that travel through time, uh, and there's a virus, and they gotta kill monsters. I don't know if that's going to be good, but I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to watch the first episode of it. Hmm. Uh, I like that one. Very cyberpunk. No Gun Life. Yeah, I just never got into it. I was watching the first. I watched like 3 episodes of the first season, and it just didn't do anything for me. But if you like it, go for it. That's the thing, right? Like I said, there are shows that are out right now that people are watching that I'm not, and I'm watching shows that people will never watch, and that's all part of it, and I get that. Um, it's always been that way, and that's okay. That is legitimately totally cool, and in many cases, uh, you know, all for the better if people like have things that they like. Like I want people to have things they like and to like those things. Uh, and just that sometimes I don't like those things. Um, like I said, yeah, that Monster Doctor thing and the Peter Grill. It's a good name for an anime. I'm gonna look up the name of it. It's a show that I think they debuted yesterday. It's like a 12-minute thing. Like I said, the premise I don't think is a good premise, or it's not a premise that I'm interested in, but it's a decent name uh, for an anime. Uh, let's see, what was it called? Peter Grill and the Philosopher's Time. Now, if you heard the name Peter Grill and the Philosopher's Time, you would think that that is a Harry Potter knockoff. It is not a Harry Potter knockoff. It is about there was a tournament to decide the world's strongest person. A human won it for the first time ever, and now people want to bone this dude because he won this tournament. Ladies would like to bone him and have his children. And he's betrothed to somebody, and he thinks winning this tournament means that they'll be able to consummate that, but she is very naive about the ways of the world or something. And I was just like, no thanks. If I remember correctly, literally the first episode is like, is it a parody like One Punch Man? No, no. It is just, it is an attempt to do a wacky sex romp thing with a plot, and the plot happens to be that people want to jump his bone. Like, it's just a way to tell dirty jokes. That's all it is, and it just didn't seem interesting to me. Because I watched like the first like 3 or 4 minutes. Basically, it was just like, character's like, hey, can you do me a favor? And he's like, well, I'm in a good mood because I just won this tournament, sure. And she's just like, how about I get some of that junk that you got? And it was like, I'm out. I'm out of here. No thanks. No thanks, anime. Be cool. See you later. We're good. Good for now. He's like a horse that wins a Triple Crown. Yes, basically. But what if that horse had a love of his life that he wanted to commit himself to? Didn't want to be a prize mare. So yeah, it's a whole thing. A stud. I don't want to watch that show. But if you want to watch it, watch that show. Like I said, there are people who are like, Pat, Misfit of Demon King Academy. That seems terrible. Why are you going to watch it? And I was like, I don't know. Sometimes you just want to watch bad things. And this is my bad thing that I want to watch. Like I said, I bet it's not good. I'm going to watch it. All right. So let's get this backpack on. So put this backpack on. I got to slide this piece in. So here's our impossibly large backpack. Because there's literally a stand to help keep this up, if we want to keep this up. But there it is. This is what this thing looks like with its impossibly large backpack that does a bunch of other stuff and has weapons and turns around and becomes a platform for it to ride, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But I want to get this connected here. Oh, yeah, it's got some weapons there. Can do the weapon thing. Huge back. Did you ever watch Overlord? The stuff about the Misfit of Demon Academy always being super powerful makes me think of that kind of... Yeah. So Overlord is really... I legitimately think there's an interesting element to Overlord, which is I feel like the creator of that manga must have realized that people didn't think that the main character was a bad person and went out of his way to make a season where you get that this dude who has decided to only care about monsters is a monster. And I think that's interesting because the first season Overlord, you're like, oh, this is a bad dude that does bad stuff for a reason. And he's like, well, if you don't mess with this guy, don't worry about it and everything's going to be okay. But when you mess with him, look out. And like people were like, oh, this is great. And then by the last season it was like, you murdered all, you set up all these nice people and then you murdered them. Well, first you set up all these cool lizard people and you murdered them. And then you brought them back to life. But you spent a long time making me care a whole lot about some cool lizard people. And I did. I thought those cool lizard people were fucking cool as shit. And you made me really care about them. And then you murdered all of them. Uh, and then you were like, here's this group of adventurers. And maybe not all of them are nice, but one of them is super sweet. And after this last job, she's going to go, she's going to take her sisters away from their bad living situation, her younger sisters away from their bad living situation by doing this. And guess what? No, they all got fucking murdered. And it's just like, oh yeah, this this is this is not a good dude, and this is not, yeah, feeding, yeah, and then like, yeah, some of those adventurers were garbage, sure, you know, and you can almost even justify, well, he did kill the coolest knight in the land, a guy that was like fucking rad as hell. He did murder that guy, but he like did his, he did it in the nicest way he could, question mark. And you're like, oh, maybe you could justify it like that. But no. As that show progresses, it's just like, hey, guess what? This is fucked. This is all fucked. Uh, it is. It's a lot. That anime is a lot. Uh, Honorably. Yeah. I mean, he did freeze time and then stab and then killed him and then unfroze time. But what I'm saying is that, like, like they had a good, nice conversation about it. And he knew he was going to die, and he knew he had to die. So I'm saying comparatively to some of the other ways that characters went out in that show, that dude did okay. Or he was like, hey, can I have that cool weapon when I kill you? And he's like, it's got to go to the family. And he's like, yeah, I respect that. Okay, I get that. I'm not going to take your cool weapon after right now when I murder you. Uh, and I will do it. I'll freeze time and murder you and then unfreeze time. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they haven't introduced the manga has a whole like mini arc that they skipped over that I don't know if they're like gonna do anything with, but like Albedo has sisters, or like she's part of a clan or something, and like we've kind of seen shadows of them, so that'll be interesting to see if they end up in the show or not. Uh, but it's yeah, that's a weird show. I don't know if we're gonna see more of that. Overlord. I would say the first season's definitely worth watching. I don't know if the second season I think is fun. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But I think the first season is at least interesting, taking the idea of because most of the time when people wake up in or playing a video game and then the video game is now real and they're in it and they're playing their character, most of the time they're like, well, I've got to do the right thing in this situation. And in that game or in that anime, he's just like, okay, well, the right thing to do in this show is to be a monster. I like the 30 drug. Yeah, heavy duty. One of the things I really liked. The one of the only things I liked about um, Cautious Hero is Overly Cautious, which I don't think is actually a great show. But the thing that I genuinely liked about that is they use the same band. So that show, which is just a parody of Isekai's, kind of, in a way, used the Overlord, the same band that does Overlord's music to do that, and it really like it's like a kick-ass song, but it is going for like they're like, well, if we're gonna do this, let's do this, and I really appreciate that going for the vibe. Um, I would say that show is probably not necessarily worth watching. I think the premise is really great, but I think they play Cautious Hero is overly cautious. I think they play with the premise too much, and it's actually like it go like the idea that like oh well he's been reincarnated as this hero and he's a cautious person. And then they're like, at the very end, they're like, here's why. And you're like, cool. This is supposed to be me caring about him because, like, even though he cares about people, he's also just acts really selfishly and it's annoying. And then you're like, try to go out of your way to, like, make me care about him. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Cautious Zero is great. I do think the premise is cool. And I do, like I said, I do like that they used the same band that did uh, Overlord's music. All right. And let's put that right here. Boom. If anybody's got any questions or anything, we've got a few minutes left in the stream before we go and give somebody else some love because we will do the shield, the beam sabers, and the display base and a new kit, the Zaku 2, on Monday. But we've basically finished up this. So if there's anything anybody wants to say before we go and give a raid, now's a great time to say something. If there's something on your mind. But otherwise, I'll just say, hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I enjoyed having you here. Got this cool backpack. So I'll take a photo of that, put that up on whatever the internet. He's a tsundere, only knows secretly cares because they explicitly tell you. Yeah, he is. He is like a weird tsundere character, but he's not like a. But he's not a tsundere character that acts like a tsundere character. He is a tsundere character that acts like an asshole, but he doesn't do the. He's just an asshole that apparently cares. That's not my jam. All right. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Here's what's going to happen right now. I am going to find a stream for us to raid, and we are going to raid that stream. Y'all are going to be nice, cool people that I know you are to whoever we raid. Oh, I missed this. I'm so sorry. DT Remble. I'm sorry, you followed me, and I didn't notice. That was 6 minutes ago. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Make sure you're following me if you're not already. Make sure you go give me a follow so you know when I'm streaming more. I don't know who we should go raid, what people are doing. Thank you for the follow, Looney Steven. Appreciate that. Yeah, turn your notifications on so you know when I stream. My next build stream will be on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to finish the weapons for this. We're going to go raid Xandra. She made her emotes. Xandra is playing Final Fantasy V. That's cool. So let's go. I'm going to go make sure that she's still playing. Yep, she is. Great. So we're going to go give Xandra a raid. So let's be cool to Xandra and be on your best behaviors. But once again, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for being here. My next build stream, as I said, will be on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we will finish up the weapons on this kit. Thanks for being here. And I'll see you in the next build with Baer. Once we get through this waiting here and let people queue up. But yeah, more building on Monday. Archive, I'll be up on YouTube tomorrow if you missed some of it, or you can just watch the VOD when it's over. Let's go raid. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.